your second name?
Fitzhigham.
Fitzhigham. See, I was saying Fitzhigham.
Yeah.
But Fitzhigham.
Yeah.
I'm glad I've got that right now. Thanks for coming to the picnic.
Thank you.
Picnic on the Fringe on the Meadows.
I'm loving this. This is lovely. It was a lovely day. Lovely. The sun is out. It's the one bright and sunny day in Scotland.
Well,
wonderful.
I mean, yesterday was quite nice as well, and tomorrow, for the rest of the week, it's supposed to be
nice.
nice.
Oh, great! Oh, finally, we've got that week.
You'll be fine, lovely. But then next week it's going to be...
It's back to the good old...
It's going to be hell.
Yeah, nice.
But, you know, it wouldn't be the same without rain dodging, I don't think, the Fringe.
Well, last year, my technician got trench foot.
Really?
Yeah.
Because of it was raining so much?
Yeah, that's normally a First World War complaint.
No one...
And somehow he managed to get it in Edinburgh in the summer. So that tells you what the weather is.
I mean, were you performing in a swamp or
no? It was just. I mean, it was. I think it was last year or maybe it was the year before. But we had the average rainfall for August in a day.
Oh my gosh!
And then the same the second day, and then the same the third. So we'd had 3 times the average rainfall that Edinburgh normally gets in August. And that's a lot anyway, but in 3 days.
And it was right at the beginning, was it?
Yeah, it was a killer.
Oh, what a way to start there.
Yeah, it was great.
You're not in a great way to carry on.
But, you know, we don't need this. I mean, we're comedians. We come out at night.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know,
well, indeed.
As long as there's a night, we're all right.
Well, you're looking very glamorous as well.
Well, thank you very much. This is very kind of you.
In your now, is that a scarf or
it's just in case it gets too hot and I need to do this.
Right.
It's a trick I learnt when I was in North Africa, and I brought it back to the UK. But this one actually is a curtain. Sadly, it's not. This is I borrowed it from an Indian takeaway owner.
That's amazing.
That I know and love, and he lent me the curtain. So I really must give it back to him.
That would be, but that's you know. Are you hoping that it's going to catch on? Are people around Edinburgh going to have?
Well, it's a very common thing in hot countries. Mm-hmm. It's probably less common in Scotland, I guess.
Well,
but it works for me.
But if it works for you, then that's what matters. Now, I'm just looking at your show title, which is Stop the Pigeon.
Yeah.
Which is now this is a follow-up to your previous show, which was Gambler.
Yes, that's right.
So in this, just to set the scene, you were given a lot of sort of gambles or bets
in the Gambler. That was last year's show. So I took on the top 10 weirdest wagers. In history. Mm-hmm. So the top 10 greatest. Excuse me, that's the lemonade. The top 10 greatest gambles that history's ever had. I mean, it was an amazing experience. And I went back and I looked at the old gentlemen's clubs and I looked at the wagers books from 250 years ago, and I found really the greatest gambles.
So did it take some research to find the very best?
Oh, it was really exciting. I got to go and look at all these old books. Because when you were in the olden days, you couldn't go to a bookies because there were no bookies. So what gentlemen did is they went to their gentlemen's club, which is a place where gentlemen go when they reach a certain weight. And they sit down, drink, and wait for a heart attack. And while they're doing that, they basically make bets and gambles, and they write them down in the book. And the wagers in these books were just completely mind-blowing. And I was like, someone's got to try these out. Someone's going to have a go at these. So I took 10 of them, the top 10, and I went for them. And I gambled with various people, Alex Horne, Richard Hammond from Top Gear, Hugo Spear, the actor, a variety of different people, and ended up doing these extraordinary things like racing a racehorse over a 100-yard dash, rolling a cheese board 6,000 metres, trying to race a marathon but pushing a wheelbarrow.
Oh yes, that was the sort of, Richard Hammond's one,
the Top Gear. Yeah. And so that was all pretty fantastic, and it was such a good show. I mean, it did end. I mean, I nearly lost my house to gambling, and I nearly lost my sanity, and I nearly lost my life to a bone marrow eating infection. But I came through it all to do last year's show, which was a great show.
Well, it's triumphant. I mean, if you've got through that,
it was good. It was a good show.
A certain feeling of elation that you're at the end and you're telling the story.
That's right. A certain feeling of elation to be standing up and actually able to talk. So that was the plus. Mm-hmm. And then this year I was planning to do a show about some time that I'd spent in sort of glacial on an ice cap, and I really wanted to do that show. And then things went a little bit awry and unravelled, and the unravelling of that is Stop the Pigeon. That's what it's about. Stop the Pigeon is about a gamble that I tried not to get involved in, that I didn't really want to sort of do, but that just took me over and became all-consuming. It's a gamble that wasn't included in the last year's show. It's probably the toughest toughest gamble in history, and I took it on, and the results of that are Stop the Pigeon.
Well, it sounds amazing. It sounds brilliant, because you've been involved with so many sort of stunts.
Yeah.
Is this the most? So this is the most difficult.
I think it's difficult because it's a race against time.
Okay.
And I think that's what's hard about it. I think the other things, I mean, rowing the channel in a bathtub, it's very tough. Of course, it's tough. And yes, you're against time in so much as you're against the current and the elements. But you're not against a really short... This has got to be done... The bet has to be done within 1 hour. So it's a bet for 1 hour. You've got to keep the bet for... And it's 60 minutes. It's not a long time. And I find that very difficult. I think that's the difficult thing about this bet. That's what makes it so tough.
So it's quite elegant and quite, simple and bringing it back to basics almost.
Yeah, that's right. And there's lots of different ways that I try to achieve the bet. I won't want to spoil the story for you, but the first method doesn't entirely work.
Okay.
So then I have to come up with a substitute method, and perhaps that one doesn't work, and then another one, and then so several sort of plan B, C, D, E, just to try and win this bet. And again, the bet is against Alex Horne. So
against Alex Horne. So going back
Horne is very much the nemesis once again. So that's great fun.
Well, didn't you have another nemesis? Didn't I see Andre Vincent?
Vincent is involved as well. Now, not
in
content.
the show.
Yes, but you see, not content with gambling to make the show, not content with gambling with Horne to make the show, I then entered into a side bet with Andre Vincent that he could write the opening of the show. If he
so this
won
was
the
the
bet.
opening line.
The opening of the opening of the show could be penned by Andre if he was to win the bet that we entered into, which was a race.
And then if you won, then
he has to say a line.
Oh, just a line
in his set.
In every
single set he does.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
so it's quite high stakes because you can really stitch somebody up that way. I mean, imagine the first thing you say on stage is such a high stakes moment. You walk out, the audience is already subconsciously thinking things about you before you even open your mouth. They're going, oh, I don't know, is he a bit tall? Is he a bit this or a bit that? And it might be this. And then you open your mouth, and then they make decisions about that. And it's a vital first thing. The first line is such an important part of a comedy show, of any show, of course.
Well, don't audiences decide what they want?
Maybe they do.
Within the first 10 seconds or something.
Well,
they decide whether they like you or not.
I hope they don't. But yes, so that I took that massively high stakes gamble of essentially saying to Andre, if you win this race, you will write the show opening, and if I win, then I will write a line for you.
And you initiated this? This was your...
We came up with this together.
And so the results of this are going to be in the show?
They very much are. I'd say, either they'll be in the first 5 minutes or they won't. Pretty much. So yes, they certainly you will know the results of this bet very quickly.
Prominent. And this barge, didn't you take it from London to Edinburgh?
Yeah, it's not got here yet. It's
still on the way.
It's still on the way. There's a lovely lady called Nicola, and she is the captain of the boat.
So it's her boat, is it?
Well, I was I was in charge of it when I was on board, of course.
Yeah.
But Nicola is thoroughly captaining it, and she's brilliant and capable and wonderful. And she is now attempting to get this vessel from Falkirk. I think she's made it to Falkirk somewhere. She's attempting to get from Falkirk to Edinburgh now. She's doing her best.
So do you get updates periodically?
I do, very much. Yeah,
it's on
pleasanceahoy.com. Is
right.
the website, and you can go there and you can track where the boat is and how well or badly it's going. I'd say.
So is that the next big project? Is that something?
No,
that's
it's going to arrive in Edinburgh. I'm really
While
confident about this. I'm massive. It's going to arrive on the 12th. Nicola will bring this boat into Edinburgh on the 12th, and I will hopefully be there to meet her when she does.
To greet it with open arms.
Yeah. It'll be very nice. I'm very proud of her. She's doing great.
Okay, well that's brilliant. Yeah. Now, where is your show? And
I am on in the Pleasance. Mm-hmm. I'm on in the Pleasance Courtyard doing Stop the Pigeon at 7:30 p.m. every single night of the festival.
Every night? Do you get a night off?
Apart from the 15th. That's the only one.
Now, what happens? Because I'm curious of what comedians do on this mysterious night off. Is it just a break? Do you just lie down? Or
I'm actually I'm sort of having an enforced day off because I've got to go for a production meeting. I'm very wonderful. I managed to get a television series, and that's starting filming 3 days after the Fringe, and so we're having to do an emergency last-minute production meeting on what would otherwise be the day off that I would be having from Stop the Pigeon. So I'll be going over to Glasgow first thing in the morning and trying to work out what we're doing with the.
Well, that's
with the
incredibly
TV series.
exciting.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
Is it sort of at early stages? So
no, I mean we've filmed the first episode, and that's going out in January. Hopefully to be followed by the second episode, which we will be filming in September. And so it's very exciting. It's going to be called Superhumans. It's on CBBC, and it's me sort of flying all around the world, meeting these extraordinary people, absolutely incredible, mind-blowing people who can do unbelievable things, and challenging them to 3 different challenges per week to see just how extraordinary they are. So we would take me as the benchmark. There's a lot of me losing in this show. Okay. I don't want to ruin it for you, but you know, okay. I'm not an extraordinary man.
If they're punting for you, yeah.
Well, yeah. If you're having a gamble on it, I would probably choose the others. And so basically, I meet these extraordinary people. For example, I went to Iceland and I was put up against this incredible man who can withstand extreme cold. And so we had 3 challenges that I tried to win against him, and just to prove just how extraordinary he is. Because I wouldn't say I'm not a horrifically unfit person. I'd occasionally go for a run, probably like all of us. I'm not an Olympian, but I occasionally go for a run. I occasionally go a bit of cycling. I occasionally go for a swim. But I'm not a hardcore fit person. I'm just a normal guy, a regular guy. And putting that up against these extraordinary people is what I think makes the series quite interesting, because you can all see that there's an ordinary guy, and then it shows you just how extraordinary the superhumans are.
Wow. Well, look forward to it. That's going to be on CBBC.
In January.
January. Yeah. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me on The Picnic in the Park.
A picnic at the Fringe.
Wonderful.
Help yourself to a biscuit.
I would love one. Now, gosh, which one? I think I'll probably have a shortbread being in Scotland. That's absolutely lovely.
I think every nice choice. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.